best way to describe it is, from our start, we were playing soccer in a baseball field. And you can't describe that. The true soccer fans are like, I would never watch that because it's not history. It's not tradition. But what you get is you get a carnival kind of experience. You get an atmosphere of like a festival. You got the supporter people playing their drums and blowing their horns, and they're walking through and they're marching. And it's a nonstop activity for 90 minutes that even if you're not a fan of the sport, you will be before you leave, right? You just got to get people in the door. And once you're there, you want to be a part of it because it's not. Yeah, you've got this live match going on, but there's everything going on around it that's in theory it's helping the guys on the pitch and the girls on the pitch play because they're feeling energized by what's going on outside of that field or the pitch.
Wow. We were in the playoffs last year.
Yes, you were.
Against Pittsburgh, and we were not playing well.
Yeah.
It was not a good game, right? And we score. They're up 2-0. We score a goal, and you could feel it. And I'm telling you from the sideline, just to his point about atmosphere. I knew at that moment we were going to advance,
right?
Because it's like nothing I've ever experienced. And the thing about soccer is that you're waiting for one moment as a fan, and that one moment you go nuts. And then when that one moment comes and they go nuts, then the players feel it, and then there's another moment, and it's different. And I've played all the sports. I grew up playing hockey, then football. I played baseball in high school. I've played all of them other than tennis. And I'm not a good tennis player.
I was going to say,
but
I wouldn't take this is probably your best.
I'm not going anywhere
him.
near him on the tennis court because he's unbelievable. But the other sport, it's very different. And I love all of the sports.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But this sport is so different because everybody's going crazy. And like he's saying, the drums are going. But that one moment, 11,000 people, same time, going nuts, and the players feel it. And it's just different. The ongoing joke I've heard before is you talk about the score line, right? Like at times with soccer, you're like, oh, it's only 2-1 or sometimes 0-0.
Right.
Well, yeah. Well, when it's 21-14 in football, it's really 3 to 2.
Yes,
You know
that's
what
right.
I mean? It's still they just put more numbers
That's right.
on the score. You know? And by the way, I love all the sports. Like I really do.
I do
It's
too,
just sometimes it gets a bad rap, and the energy in the stadium, especially at Lynn Family. Oh my gosh, the echo from the way the stadium's built, and you can feel it on the sideline even as a coach. Like I said, when that goal went in against Pittsburgh, there was not a doubt in my mind because of the atmosphere that the players on the field were gonna go, okay, we're fucking winning this game.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a question, and that's the best part about this sport. It's different for people that don't come up in a soccer stand. And I understand that coming from playing a ton of different sports, but the feeling is just unique. It's unique. That's probably the best way to put it,
Well, I guess you guys should just start scoring 11 points each goal.
Start
And then it'll
changing the
take
score.
off even further.
If it's 21-14, 3-2, you know what I mean?
That buildup of the game ended in PKs, right?
It did. It ended in penalties, which was different.
And it was different because we didn't have our starting goalie in the box that night.
Yeah.
We had a young kid who had really faced many PKs.
Yeah.
Wow.
So here he is staring down Pittsburgh. That Pittsburgh strikes first, and he blocks the first goal.
And
kick.
people lose their mind.
And they did.
Nuts.
I mean, they did.
Nuts.
And we ended up winning that game because he stopped that first goal. And here's in my head, I'm thinking this newbie is in here stepping and facing Pittsburgh, and he hasn't seen many PKs, but he stopped it, and the place went nuts.
That's awesome.
He hadn't played much at all last year. He didn't play much at all during the season until around that time frame. And it was, the atmosphere.
And he stepped up when needed.
Unbelievable. Exactly. It's what a team is, right?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And I don't know if Danny saw this, but a couple weeks ago we hosted last year's. Unfortunately, San Antonio got us in the championship game, but we hosted them a couple weeks ago, and the atmosphere in Lynn Family Stadium was something I'd never seen before.
Yeah,
I've never seen the Wave performed in one of our soccer
so
matches
cool.
ever.
There you go.
Around
And I was
the whole
trying, and
place.
people were yelling. I was like, "What are they yelling? What? There's no penalty caused, and no foul on the field, on the pitch. Sorry." But I started looking around, and people are doing that, and then camera lights started coming on.
Yeah.
And it was just a completely different. It was organic.
It's organic,
Nobody
yeah.
started it, but our fans started that, and they got behind us, and they led us to a victory, which it was incredible to see. I mean, if you weren't there and your hair weren't raising on your arms,
Yeah. Right.
something was wrong. You were numb.
So
Yeah.
cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
And look, I'm engaged in that game, and my hair is standing up on my arms when that's happening. You can see it. You can feel it. You know what I mean? And that was a game that was really important to the players
Yeah.
because of what happened in the final, right? And everybody, everybody as far as us in the locker room, and I'm sure the fans were waiting for this game and this moment to get back at a team that beat us in a final,
Absolutely.
and I mean, that night was unbelievable. And the players, this is the thing, as players start getting tired, right? You have the fans behind you, and you have this ability to bring the players up, and they feel it.
It's like the second wave.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we win that game, and we've built from there. We've gotten wins since then because it's a massive piece of it, and there's so much that goes into it. But that night, that atmosphere, the different things that happened was honestly incredible.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so cool. So what brought you to Louisville FC?
Yeah, so I was coaching in Salt Lake City. I was a coach there. Manager came here before. A mentor of mine, John Hackworth, he came here, and he called the president at the club that I was at before and said, "Listen, I want to bring Danny with me." I was under contract at the time, and he said, "Okay, well, that's going to cost you." And they came up with a deal, and our owners here at Louisville City took care of that in order to get me out of my contract there to get me here, and I've been here ever since. And it's probably one of the best decisions I've made in my life, because this place, the club, the city, the food, the bourbon, every piece of it has been. My son was born here. This is a place that is now really close to my heart, and the people that involved, at the club, like you said, Brad and I have known him for a really long time now. You develop these relationships with everybody at the club. And this place is, for me, family oriented, and this city is very much like that. And it's one of the best decisions I made. If I could go back, I wouldn't change a thing. And now my hope is obviously to bring a championship here. We fell a little bit short last year, but we got a good team this year, and hopefully we're there. So
you guys have been consistently getting into the playoffs and making some noise. So
for sure.
And who would have ever thought that when we first even talked about bringing this soccer stadium and soccer to Louisville, who would have ever thought that we would be consistently fighting for championships?
I know I didn't.
I didn't. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw, I was like, "Oh man, I wonder how long that's gonna last."
And I think when you look at honestly James O'Connor, who's a mentor of mine and my boss, right? He was at the beginning with the owners here. When you look at the front office that have been here from the beginning until now, everybody has done everything they can to get this club to where they are, including obviously the community.
Right.
And I tell this to people all the time. I leave my office around 5:30, 6 o'clock, sometimes 7, and I leave, and there's 1,000 kids on the turf in the training ground that are part of our academy. Right, this thing has grown into something that has been organically incredible. Right. I leave my office, I'm leaving with parents dropping their kids off. It's constant now, daily, Monday through Friday, and then I'm not there on Saturdays because there are games. But my point is the community has come around this, and the owners and James and our front office have built this thing into something really, really special. And that's not to take away, obviously, our players and the coaching staffs that have been here have done the same. But it has been this powerful organism that has turned into something really, really special because of everybody involved. Not just the players, not just the coaches, not just the front office, but everybody together, the community and everybody. It's been, and that's why I say I wouldn't have changed one decision that I've made.
Right.
Where I'm
awesome.
at now is fucking special.
Hell yeah.
And I'm with a great group of people.
You're one of, if not the youngest coach in the USA.
Right now, I'm the youngest. I was the youngest last year. I'm still the youngest this year, I believe. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Crazy to even have that opportunity.
Yeah.
And I would assume that had to have been scary and shit. Just to be like, oh yeah, let me coach this championship team. Sure. We're good.
For sure. But
Why
I think I can't praise the people enough, because the way that our owners and our president and James O'Connor have supported me has been incredible. I go through, just like, I'm human, right? Like, when we don't do well, and he knows this, he sees me walking around, I'm down, because I feel a very massive sense of responsibility to the community and my players and my family and everything. But the way that our owners have committed to me, the way that our president is committed to helping me at times when it hasn't been going well, or maybe a couple bad results, like earlier this year, has been incredible. And it helps me learn how to be a hell of a coach. And it helps me learn how to, okay, this is adversity, but I'm going to get through this, and this is how. And for me, I've said this before, but I wouldn't be the coach that I am if I wasn't at the club that I am, for sure. There's not even a question, because I'm someone that at times when things aren't going well, I look at myself and I go, is this good enough? Am I good enough? And you can have someone above you that goes, no, it's not good enough. If you don't change, you're not going to be here. Or you can have someone that goes, listen, you're more than good enough. You need to look at this. You need to look at this. And that's how my boss handles me. That's how my owners handle me. And that's how I'm able to, through tough moments, go, you know what? It hasn't been good, but we will fix it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
You have your own coaching.
For sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have the people in front of me that are helping me be the best version of myself.
Yep.
And I think no matter what industry you're in, if you have that, you're more likely to be successful.
Oh, absolutely.
If you have people constantly hammering, and not looking to try to build you up in any industry, that's when it becomes difficult,
yourself,
right?
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, I was getting ready to say Danny was going to be way too humble, but he just a few minutes ago said he's a hell of a coach. So maybe not that humble, but
that's what a few of these do, man. We got knock the humble right on out.
He's humble in the sense that, well, I'll go back to the day we announced we were going to build this stadium. Mayor Greg Fisher came out there and he goes, how does soccer work in a town and in a state known for bourbon, in a city known for basketball and horse racing? How does soccer fit into that? And the way it fits in is everything that this club does, and I say this club, these players and coaches do for the community, right? You're not going to find our coaches and our players in some kind of scandal in the newspaper. When you read about it, it's always positive. Losses aren't positive, but what we do in the community are positive.
Right.
You're not going to find them causing trouble somewhere or something negative written about these players. These players are stand-up people that understand what this community is, and they don't want a bad blemish on the community because of them. Yeah. And I don't think Danny knows that. You're not going to find that in the newspaper with this team.